You guys have a Maverick R, sick of your doors not shutting properly like ours? Well, we're gonna get rid of these OEM doors and put on our TMWOFFROAD doors on this bad boy today, and we'll show you how to do it. Remove this little guy here. Next, you want to remove this little snap ring right here. Just grab a pick, hook it in there and pop that snap ring loose. Be careful not to drop it down in the body. You have 2 of those on each door. Once your clips are removed, open the door just barely and the door should lift straight up. Now remove the outer skin and flip the door over. There's another set of Torx that you have to remove to get to the latch. And we're going to set the driver door frame on the driver door skin and line up the holes. The reason we're doing this right now is we're going to figure out where we want the foam tape to go. So we're going to take some masking tape and put a couple marks down where we want to run our foam tape so that there's no vibration between the outer skin and the frame. And pull the frame off. Take your roll of foam. Alright guys, here's the hardware kit for the Maverick R doors. These are our latches, door stops, latch handles. All right, take your driver door latch handle, orientate it just like this. Take your latch rod and place it just like that. Now make sure that this is aiming down and not up. This is the driver's side will aim down. And snap that little Delrin spacer that we make in there. That spacer allows the rod to move freely without too much friction. Put your 832 bolt in there. Make sure the button head is on top like that. And then put your stainless washer on the bottom side and your nylock nut. And tighten her up. And then the latch handle is ready to be installed on the door. All right, next step, take your latch handle assembly that you created, install a little billet stopper like that. That's gonna stop the door handle from swinging too far forward. And then it goes into this little oval slot up here in the door frame. So we'll slide that into the door frame there, like so. And your rod will sit right on top of the latch in that front hole. You'll take your 5/16 bolt washer, put it in from the bottom side with the thread sticking upward. And put your nylock and your flat washer on. Just leave that loose for a minute. Take your second step spacer on this side. Go ahead and push it in the little latch right there. Remember, in that front hole. So you want this should be almost parallel with your tube right here. If the latch rod is installed backwards, or if you have the left side on the right, the rod will be further down here and it'll kind of collide with the latch right here. It'll be installed incorrect. Take your 832 stainless button head bolt, feed it from the bottom side so it looks a little cleaner when the door is installed. You don't see the back of the nut and bolt. And we'll throw that on there. Now when you snug these down, just snug them up. Don't tighten them so tight that they crush that plastic spacer. You need some freedom of movement in this latch rod so that the latch springs and returns and works properly. Just snug them up. To tighten up those Allen bolts, you're going to use a 3/32 Allen. I have a 9mm. You can use an 11/32 as well. Either one will hold on to the back side of that. To tighten up the 5/16 bolt, use a 13 or 2/2, whatever you got, 1/2-inch socket or 13mm socket. So we want to push this back far enough that this is making contact here, this little stop, and that this is parallel with the door. The latch handle is parallel with the door. So you can see we're sliding it back in that stop. We don't want to pull the latch open, but we want to pull the latch, so you want to pull it just snug right there, and then we want to tighten it up. So now we have a functioning latch assembly. Everything's working properly. Only thing we need now is a fancy billet handle. So we'll take the titanium Torx bolt, 1/4-inch Torx, thread the handle in place. Use your T30 to tighten that up. Just hold the one side with your hand. Snug that up. Latch assembly is good to go. All right, and then sand it just enough so that the heim slides up and down like that. So you can see I've laid the hinge spacers out here by size. The smallest ones on the left to the tallest ones on the right. The smallest ones, all of them have a little taper at the top, and that's the part that goes toward the heim. And then, so you're gonna start with the smallest, shortest one, grab one of those. Then we're gonna grab our door stop and a washer. So we start off by putting a washer on, door stop. And that's what limits the door travel so it doesn't crash into the body backwards. And then we take our small spacer with the taper facing up, slide that over, and then now you're ready to slide the door with the heim on top of that. That's how you do the upper one. Now the lower one, you're just gonna take one of the medium ones. So one of these medium spacers, taper up. That's gonna go on the lower one. So you can see that there, it's just sitting there. And there's our washer, door stop, and short. Okay, so we've installed our heim hinges here, just loosely, because we're gonna adjust them on the car. But you can see we just slid them in the slot. There is a slot in the frame for adjustment in and out. And then front to back, the adjustment is the thread of the heim. So we'll go ahead and set this door frame on the car. A little awkward when the heims are loose. Once they're tight, the door comes on and off pretty easy. And we'll carefully make sure you don't crash into the body because the door's not adjusted. Don't want to ruin our graphics here. So now that we've got our door frame in place, we can come back here, adjust our heims, and get ready for the door skin. So we got a stopper here, a rubber stopper, and you can see we've got it lined up and just pushing right on that little button. It's pushing in. As soon as the latch hits the second stage, it's pushing it in all the way. So we've got our adjustment right. So now we can open up the door and just tighten that up. But you adjust it in or out by this little nut right there and washer. Just grab the rubber stopper with your hand, twist it with, because the nylock sometimes can be a little stiff, sometimes you will have to pinch that with a pair of pliers or vice grips a little bit, but most of the time you can just hold it with your hand and tighten the back side. Now your door frame opens and closes. So these are the stainless bolts that we normally use for the door skin. And these are the titanium ones that we're using for this. This is one of our show cars. I don't know if you can really see that very well. One of the things that we found that works really well on adjusting these doors is if you push the bottom of the door in before you tighten the two heims up all the way, it gives you a little bit more clearance up here, and as the door is tighter to the body, it makes less noise and doesn't rattle. Okay guys, some of you guys have ordered the TMW shock assist option for the Maverick R doors. Comes with these cool little stainless steel balls that we machine here in-house that bolt into your body, and we'll show you where those go. And then it comes with these two gas struts that open the door and hold it open for you. Cool thing is they're super easy to pop on and off, so if you do have the door in a tight area, like say you're putting it in your toy hauler and you can't open the door all the way, you can just pop it off the ball real quick, put the shock in the passenger seat, do what you need to do, and then reinstall it by snapping it back on. Super easy. You can see if you want to use the locking option, they have these little clip right here. It comes off, this little clip pops on and off and locks the shock in place. You don't have to use that. On mine, I'm not using the locking clip because I like to just snap them on and off real quick, and they snap on and stay on pretty well without the clip, but it does have that locking clip option if you want to use those to make it extra secure. And we'll show you how to install those. All right guys, locate this little T30 bolt right here. Use your Torx T30, remove that guy. Put the flat washer down first and thread in the ball. Use the 11mm tightener up. When you're installing your shock, check your door adjustment by making sure that the shock is longer than the distance between these two mounts. And so that allows the shock to stop the door before it hits the door stop really hard. If the distance is greater than the shock, it'll swing open too fast. And so what you'll want to do is move the door backward a little bit with the heims so it catches the door stop sooner, so it limits that travel of the door so that the shock works properly. This one's pretty good. You can see it's about 1 inch that we need to compress this shock to get it on the door stop here, and that's exactly how we like it. All right, doors are installed. Guys, double check everything, make sure everything's tight, make sure you didn't forget anything, make sure all your gaps look good, you're not rubbing the body in any way, especially if you have a wrap or paint, you don't want to tear up a nice expensive wrap or paint job. This one's all done. We're going to send her over to Wolf Designs for them to dial in the wrap and get it looking like the rest of the car, and can't wait to get her out on the trail and have some fun.